When we talk about love, we often think of it as a feeling, a fleeting emotion that makes our hearts race and our spirits soar. But love is so much more than that. It is the deep, unwavering connection between souls. Love is not confined to romantic gestures or fleeting moments of happiness. True love runs deeper. It is the foundation of our relationships, our bonds, and the way we see the world around us. You see, the depth of love is not measured by how often we say, "I love you," or how many gifts we give. It's measured by how we show up for each other when the world feels dark and uncertain. It's about being present, even when it's not easy, even when we don't have all the answers. It's about showing empathy when others are struggling and offering a shoulder to lean on when it feels like they have nowhere else to turn. One of the greatest gifts love gives us is the power of vulnerability. To love deeply means we must allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to let down the walls that protect us. In that vulnerability, we find strength. We find connection. It is only when we open our hearts and our minds to another person that we truly experience the depth of love. Because love is not just about what we can give or receive, but about what we're willing to share from the depths of our soul. But love is not always easy. Love asks us to make sacrifices, to put others before ourselves, and sometimes to choose the path that requires more patience, more understanding, and more compassion. Love is about giving not for the sake of recognition or reward, but because we genuinely want the best for someone else. It asks us to stretch ourselves beyond our limits, to push ourselves in ways we never thought possible. And perhaps the most beautiful aspect of love is the concept of unconditional love. To love someone unconditionally means accepting them as they are, flaws and all. It means loving them even when they falter, when they make mistakes, and when they are not the person they wish they could be. It means lifting them up, even when it's hard to do so. Unconditional love heals. It transforms. It creates bonds that can weather any storm. The depth of love is not something we find in fleeting moments. It's something we cultivate, nourish, and build over time. It's something we choose every single day. Love is not just a feeling, but a way of life, a way to connect, to heal, and to build a world where empathy, compassion, and kindness reign. When we understand the depth of love, we begin to see the world through different eyes, eyes that look for the good in others, eyes that see the potential for growth and healing. Love, in its truest form, has the power to change everything: our lives, our relationships, and the world itself. When we talk about love, we often reduce it to a series of emotions and fleeting moments. But love is far more profound than what we typically associate with it. Love is a deep, emotional connection that transcends the surface-level interactions we have with people in our daily lives. It is about the way we relate to others at the core of our being, beyond mere words or gestures. At its deepest level, love is about recognizing and understanding the humanity in another person and making space for that connection to grow. True love is not just about feeling something intense in the moment. It is not about the butterflies we feel when we first meet someone or the excitement of receiving a grand gesture. Those things are beautiful, but they are temporary. The love that lasts, the love that has depth, is about a continual, intentional choice to bond with another person in a meaningful way. This type of love doesn't just happen overnight. It is nurtured over time through understanding, trust, empathy, and vulnerability. The depth of love can be seen in the small, everyday moments where we choose to show up for the people we care about. It's not always about grand declarations or extraordinary actions, but rather the quiet, consistent acts of care and affection that build a foundation over time. When you love someone deeply, you are committed to their well-being, not just when things are easy, but especially when they face challenges. This type of love doesn't fade with time. It evolves and strengthens, deepening as you share your life with another person. Love at its deepest is grounded in empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. In the context of love, This means being able to step outside of your own perspective and truly see the world from the other person's point of view. It's about connecting with their emotions, their struggles, and their joys. Empathy requires us to listen deeply, not just to the words someone is saying, but to the emotions and needs behind those words. When we love deeply, we don't just hear the surface-level conversation. We hear what is unsaid, and we respond to that with compassion and care. True love also involves a recognition of the other person's individuality. It's easy to fall into the trap of loving someone for what they do for us, or how they make us feel. But real love sees beyond these external qualities. It's about loving someone for who they truly are, acknowledging their strengths, their flaws, their dreams, and their fears. The depth of love is not about wanting to change someone to fit our ideal vision of them, but about accepting them fully and allowing them to be their authentic selves. Additionally, love is deeply connected to respect. When you love someone, you respect their boundaries, their choices, and their autonomy. Love that is rooted in respect acknowledges that the other person is not an extension of ourselves, but an individual with their own experiences, thoughts, and desires. This respect creates a safe space for the relationship to flourish. In deep love, there is a balance between connection and independence, where both people can grow and evolve while maintaining a strong bond. What sets deep love apart from the superficial kind is that it is not contingent on the circumstances or what is received in return. It is not transactional. Deep love doesn't come with conditions attached. And it isn't swayed by temporary emotions or external factors. When we love deeply, we love without expecting anything in return. It is about the act of giving, not for the sake of receiving, but because we genuinely care about the well-being and happiness of the other person. This selfless aspect of love deepens the connection between two people, creating a bond that is unshakable and enduring. At its core, love is an emotional connection that anchors us to one another. It is a force that holds us through the highs and lows of life. When we love deeply, we understand that the bond we share with someone else is not based solely on good times or happy moments. It's about navigating life together, facing challenges and overcoming obstacles as a team, and finding strength in one another when the world around us seems uncertain. The depth of love requires patience, understanding, and the willingness to grow together. It is not something that can be forced or rushed. It is built over time, one small moment at a time. As we build this emotional connection with others, we come to realize that love is not just an abstract concept, but something that has the power to shape our lives in profound ways. Deep love is transformative. It has the power to heal, to bring people closer together, and to create a sense of belonging and support that transcends time and space. When we speak about love, we often focus on the joy, happiness, and fulfillment it brings. But one of the most profound aspects of love is its ability to open us up to vulnerability. Vulnerability, often seen as a weakness, is actually a strength in the context of love. To love someone deeply means to allow yourself to be seen in your most raw, unguarded state. It means letting down the walls you've built around your heart, letting go of the fear of being hurt, and allowing another person to witness both your strengths and your flaws. True love cannot thrive in a space where vulnerability is absent. It is easy to love someone when you are only showing the best version of yourself, the confident, put-together idealized image we often present to the world. However, this is not the real us. The real us is made up of our imperfections, our insecurities, our fears, and our dreams. It is only when we allow someone to see us in our entirety that true intimacy can form. In allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we give others the opportunity to love us fully, not just the parts of ourselves that are easy to love, but also the parts that are messy, uncertain, and imperfect. Vulnerability is what connects us as human beings. It is what allows us to relate to others on a deep emotional level. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are saying, I trust you enough to share this piece of myself with you. In return, the other person is often moved to reciprocate, sharing their own vulnerabilities in a way that fosters mutual understanding and connection. This sharing creates a bond that goes far beyond surface-level interactions, building a relationship based on trust and authenticity. This kind of vulnerability is not limited to romantic relationships. It is a key component of all forms of deep love, including love between family members, friends, and even ourselves. Vulnerability in these relationships is not about seeking validation or expecting the other person to fix us. Rather, it is about showing up as we are whole, imperfect, and human, and allowing the other person to accept us in that state. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable in this way, we invite deeper connection, compassion, and empathy into our lives. We also give others the space to be vulnerable with us, creating a relationship where both people feel heard, understood, and supported. In many ways, vulnerability is the gateway to growth. It allows us to confront our own fears and insecurities, and in doing so, it helps us grow stronger in our ability to love. When we open ourselves up to the possibility of being hurt, we open ourselves up to the possibility of profound emotional connection. We take the risk of being vulnerable because we understand that this is the path to truly knowing and being known by someone else. It is through vulnerability that we let down the masks we wear, the facades we hide behind, and allow another person to see us for who we truly are. It is important to note that vulnerability doesn't mean opening yourself up indiscriminately. True vulnerability comes from a place of trust. It is about sharing your most authentic self with someone who has earned that trust and who will hold that vulnerability with respect and care. Love creates a safe space for vulnerability to flourish. When we feel safe with someone, we are more likely to take the risk of sharing our fears, our dreams, and our pain. And it is in that space of safety that true emotional connection can take root. One of the most powerful aspects of vulnerability is its ability to foster deeper understanding. When we show someone our true selves, we give them the opportunity to understand us on a deeper level. We allow them to see our past experiences, our emotional wounds, and the stories that have shaped us into who we are. In doing so, we invite them to walk alongside us, not just in the good times, but also in the challenging moments. This mutual understanding creates a foundation of trust and empathy, which are essential for any deep and lasting love. Vulnerability helps us heal. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with others, we give ourselves permission to feel, to process, and to heal from past hurts. Love, in its deepest form, holds the space for us to be vulnerable and find healing. When we allow ourselves to be open, we give ourselves permission to let go of the emotional burdens we carry. Vulnerability, then, becomes not just a way to connect with others, but a means of self-care and emotional liberation. In the end, the depth of love is only truly realized when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Without vulnerability, love remains superficial. It is through vulnerability that we are able to build the trust, intimacy, and emotional connection that form the foundation of deep love. When we embrace vulnerability, we step into a space where real love can flourish, love that is genuine, unguarded, and transformative. Vulnerability, in its truest form, is not a weakness but a source of strength. And it is through this strength that love becomes its most powerful and healing force. The third aspect of love's depth is its ability to foster personal growth. Love is not just about the connection between two people. It is also about how that connection propels each individual forward, helping them become the best version of themselves. When we love deeply, we are not just offering support to one another, but we are also challenging each other to grow, to evolve, and to become more than we were before. Love has the power to bring out the very best in us, not by demanding perfection, but by encouraging us to embrace our potential and push past our limitations. At the core of this growth is the idea that love creates an environment of safety and encouragement. When we feel truly loved and supported, we are more likely to take risks, to step outside of our comfort zones, and to pursue our dreams. Love provides a foundation of trust that allows us to face the uncertainties of life with confidence. Knowing that there is someone in our corner who believes in us, even when we doubt ourselves, can be the driving force behind our pursuit of personal growth. Love is not just about feeling accepted as we are. It's also about being inspired to reach higher, to aim further, and to stretch beyond what we thought possible. One of the most powerful ways love fosters growth is through the way it holds up a mirror to our own behaviors, beliefs, and patterns. A deep relationship can reveal our strengths and our weaknesses, showing us aspects of ourselves that we may have overlooked or suppressed. Love invites us to look honestly at ourselves, at both the parts we are proud of and the parts that need improvement. This process of self-awareness is essential for growth. Without the mirror that love provides, we may never fully understand where we need to change or what we need to heal. Love challenges us to become the best version of ourselves by holding us accountable for our actions, our words, and our choices. It pushes us to grow not for the sake of pleasing others, but for the sake of becoming the person we are meant to be. Love also encourages vulnerability, which is a key element of growth. When we are loved deeply, we are given the space to be vulnerable, to admit when we don't have all the answers, and to ask for help when we need it. This vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a step toward growth. It takes strength to be vulnerable, to expose our insecurities, and to trust that others will support us in our journey. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are acknowledging that we are works in progress. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be open to learning and evolving. Love supports this openness and provides the encouragement needed to step into the unknown with confidence and curiosity. Another aspect of growth that love nurtures is forgiveness. To love deeply is to recognize that both we and the people we love are imperfect. Mistakes will be made, misunderstandings will occur, and at times pain will arise. However, love allows us to forgive not just others but ourselves as well. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for personal growth, as it frees us from the emotional baggage of resentment, guilt, or regret. When we forgive, we let go of the past and make room for new opportunities, new lessons, and new experiences. Love teaches us that we don't have to be bound by our mistakes or the mistakes of others. It teaches us that growth comes not from holding on to anger or hurt, but from releasing those negative emotions and embracing the possibility of healing and progress. Love also provides us with a sense of purpose and direction. When we are loved, we are reminded of our worth and the impact we have on the world around us. This sense of value is a powerful motivator to grow and improve. Love reminds us that we have something to offer not just to the person we love, but to the world as a whole. It encourages us to pursue our goals, to chase our passions, and to contribute to the greater good. When we feel loved and valued, we are more likely to believe in ourselves and take the necessary steps to achieve our dreams. Love empowers us to pursue the things that matter to us, to take ownership of our lives, and to create the future we desire. Love can encourage us to face our fears and limitations. In a loving relationship, there is often a willingness to confront difficult emotions, to face uncomfortable truths, and to push past the boundaries that we have set for ourselves. Love pushes us to confront our fears head-on, knowing that we are not alone in this journey. It encourages us to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as obstacles that hold us back. With the support and encouragement of someone who loves us, we can begin to view challenges not as insurmountable walls, but as stepping stones toward greater self-awareness and self-improvement. At its deepest level, love helps us evolve by reminding us that growth is a continuous process. Love doesn't require us to be perfect. It simply requires us to be open to change. It encourages us to embrace our imperfections and to see them as opportunities for growth, rather than flaws to be hidden. Love teaches us that the journey toward becoming our best selves is not linear, but full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. And through it all, love remains a constant, guiding, supporting, and inspiring us as we strive to become the person we are meant to be.